Welcome to another episode of Market Markup. This is Lance, co-founder of BH Capital Enterprises. And what I do at my business is I teach people how to navigate the markets using price action. Even more specific than that, I teach people how to read charts. If you have any questions about any of my offerings, check the comment, not the comment section, but the description box, and I'll have some information there. And if you have any further questions, feel free to hit me up, leave a comment, and I'll be happy to address them. But what I've been doing for the month of July is each and every day I've been putting out a markup or a breakdown of a random ticker. And some of those tickers I've chosen myself, but the majority of those tickers have been from solicited from people on social media to include subscribers and non-subscribers to my channel. If you are a non-subscriber, please do me the favor and of subscribing to my channel and be on the lookout for more great content. But anyway, I'm choosing American Tower Corporation for day 25 of the 30-day chart challenge. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump on into it. And so what I'm looking at on the yearly chart is this thing has just been crazy, crazy bullish for a long time. Um, for several years, it was pretty much range bound, but back in about 2010 is when it really, really started to break out. 2010, 2011, somewhere around in there is when it really, really started to break out, and it's just been on a tear since then. Um, but I don't currently see any signs right now that it is entering into the next phase or transitioning into the next phase of the market cycle. I could be wrong, but it's still just July. You know what I'm saying? We still have what 5 more months to go in the year, and so it's best to just continue to observe before really trying to form a concrete conclusion as to how this thing is going to turn out. So I'm just going to mark my usual, and I'm going to make note of 2020's opening price, which pretty much lined right up with 2019's close. But 2020's open is right at 229.68. So I'm just going to mark that level 229.68. Call that 2020 close. Okay. As you can see, for the majority of this year, the price has been holding and been supported by that 2020 close. So, quite a bit of demand below that 229 area for this ticker. Um, let's see. Let's make note of this this trend here. So over the past, few years or several years really, this has been like the area of support for this company. So, just watch this area as well, represented by this diagonal white trend line. Um, just to see, how this thing does moving forward and heading into 2022. Um, so let's see. Seeing higher highs and higher lows, so obvious bullish trend. I would also look to see if the price can stay above 2020's high. And 2020's high was 272.20, so I'm also going to mark that area. 2020 high of year, 272.20 was the price. Okay, so basically for, moving forward, if I were a bull, I would like for the price to close above this 2020 high, which, 272.20. Right now it's about a little over 13 points higher than that. So, for the remainder of the year, I'd be looking to see where the price ends up in relation to these two levels. Um, Looking at the monthly chart, well, let me go ahead and get my screenshot first. Okay, monthly chart, you can see where the price recently broke out above some resistance it was having in the 260s area. So it's had a pretty excuse me, pretty decently strong move this year after testing this area represented by this diagonal trend line that I drew on the yearly chart. So it's been going since then. Um, Maybe at some point on the year on this monthly chart it comes back down into the 260s to retest that breakout. Maybe. I think earnings is coming. I might have to look on another time frame. Yeah, earnings is coming this coming week, so be looking out for that. And of course, for sure, if the markets don't take their earnings report, favorably, then I would definitely expect the price to move back down back down into the 260s and maybe even lower. This isn't a ticker that I watch on a regular basis, so I'm not real sure as to the ins and outs of the daily volatility on it. I've never watched it on earnings to see how much of a move it typically makes. So it'll be interesting watching it this go round. But on the I don't necessarily see anything else on the monthly chart. Let me hold on. I think I do see one little thing here, possibly. So, let's just say, if this thing, so if we get a breakout, earnings beat and this thing breaks out, I would anticipate the price going to, now keep in mind this is the monthly chart. I would anticipate this price going to eventually the 360s area. Alright, so monthly, we're gonna do a different color here. And then, like I said, if it, breaks down instead, I would definitely, and this is more short term, but if this thing breaks down, I would certainly anticipate it moving down into the 160s, not 160s, but 260s. Let's just remove this. And I'm just going to draw a price level at that area. No, actually, I'm not going to do that on the monthly chart. I'm going to remove that. I'd rather do it on a different time frame. Okay, so yeah, so that's that pretty much when it comes to the monthly chart. Let me go ahead and move on to the weekly chart and see if we can gather some more information. I'm going to remove this. Actually, I'm not gonna remove that. Okay, take that off. Okay, let's see. Move this over a little bit and get a sense for where that support is here on this weekly chart. So what I'd be watching for is to see if this trend line continues to hold on a week-to-week basis, um, or whether this thing transitions into the next phase of the market cycle, at which point it would, maybe consolidate past that trend line, which would break that sentiment. Before, as long as this thing remains supported by this trend line, the sentiment, just, stays the same. Um, I'll make some slight adjustments to this one here. So, we got some potential resistance up ahead around 290. So that's an area that I would watch, this coming week. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and mark this 290s area as something to keep an eye on, um, as this one heads into earnings on the 29th, which I think is Thursday. I think Monday is the 7/27. Okay, so week is 7/27. I'm gonna make this orange so it stands out a little more. Boom. Okay. So this coming week, I'd be looking for that low 290s area if this thing, kind of continues to push up. Earnings on the 29th. It is possible that it rejects this area. It is possible that it, blasts through that area. But eventually, in my opinion, when this price breaks out of this area finally, then eventually it's going to that 370s area, which is a little less than 100 points away. All right, so the daily chart, we can see, more of the same at how this trend line has been, the price actually has been supported by this area here. Um, Again, if earnings turns out to be a bust for this one, which, technically, speaking from a technical perspective, and by technical, I just mean, price action. This thing appears to have priced in a beat already. So this could be a sell the news type of event. Not saying that that is what is going to happen. Just saying, from a technical perspective, it appears as though an earnings beat has been priced in to this one already. And if so, I would anticipate a sell off, a slight sell off, but not a complete breakdown, in my opinion. Maybe the price moves down into the low 270s, maybe even that low 260s area that I mentioned on a previous chart. So I'm going to mark that area um, and make note of that. And this would really be considered, a possible bear trap area. All right, so and I'm definitely not trying to be biased or anything like that. But the obvious picture is that this is a bullish chart. Anything can happen, anything can change with regard to earnings for this company. So um, that that's something that you should always be considering. And so if earnings is anything like, oh, they did what we expected it to do, then maybe this thing sells off a little bit and consolidates for a while, you know. But if earnings is just, if it's some unexpected great news, then this thing is gonna break through 290s for sure. 292, over 290, and toward mid 290s, maybe even toward 300. Like I said, I'm not sure, what kind of numbers this thing, the market maker typically prices in for earnings with this one. So just be open to any type of scenario happening. But either way, we've got some levels that have been identified to keep an eye on, um, regardless of what happens. Um, do I see anything else really? Not really, but I do want to adjust this thing here a little bit. Okay, so I just wanted to bring this down here. About right there. No. Alright. So you can definitely see the rising wedge happening here as we head into earnings. Earnings, which is about right here. So definitely be looking for that 290, 292 area this coming week. Or to the downside, be looking in the low 280s area. Um, like I said, I'm not sure. I've never watched this thing as it heads into earnings, especially the week of earnings. So, just be on the lookout, see what you see, but keep an eye on those levels that I mentioned, especially as we get closer to the 29th. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Please like, subscribe, share, all those good things. Um, Definitely trying to grow my channel and get better at what I do. You know what I'm saying? So if there are any tickers that you'd like for me to check out, I'm happy to put them in the queue and do that for you. So leave me some tickers in the comment section and I will get that done for you guys. Thank you for watching this episode of Market Markup, and I'll catch you in the next episode for day 26 of the 30-day chart challenge.